Okay. There's nowhere to put my water. Welcome to Space Apps Toronto, the NASA International Space Apps Challenge. We are super excited. Yeah! I love that we're at this. We're at the Ontario Science Centre. Last year we were at the ROM, which is wonderful. The Science Centre is also a spectacular venue. There's lots of cool stuff happening this weekend, which is what we'll get into. Certainly the hackathon is the main focus, but there's cool stuff going on in the building that we want you to know about too. So I'm Jonathan Mineta. I'm one of the co-leads.
I'm Emma Woolley. I'm also a co-organizer.
And together with James Costa and Matthew Potter from HTML5, we're really the ones who put the work behind this. We're really excited to see it finally coming to fruition.
Our baby is finally being birthed.
Thanks for that analogy. That's great.
You're welcome.
You were spending time in that exhibit at the Science Center today?
No.
Banter. Okay, so just to give you a little bit of perspective of what's going on here, certainly this is a hackathon here, but there are 100 other hackathons going on concurrently in about, 100 cities around the world. 10,000 people will be participating this weekend. Last year, the second year Space Apps was run. We were the largest hackathon in the world, in world history, with 9,000 hackers participating. And tons of organizations lend data to this hackathon. So 474 organizations this year are coming up with the data that you get to access today, all available at the spaceappschallenge.org site, which we'll get into soon. This includes 6 different space agencies and 11 US embassies. Why we want to highlight embassies, I don't know, but that's pretty exciting considering the US is really into retaining data. All right, Emma?
Okay. Before we get started, we have a video that NASA wanted us to watch to welcome us to the hackathon, say hello, set the stage. So we're going to watch it. It's quick. It's just a minute. James is encouraging me to tell you a space joke. Someone call out a number between 2 and 94. The only one I heard was 78, so you can blame this joke on that person. How did the cow jump over the moon? She followed the Milky Way.
No one got that? No one scientist?
One more on the same page. What do you call cattle battles in outer space?
Guess. You're supposed to guess. This is a challenge.
Steer Wars. I'm the only one who likes these jokes.
All right, obviously she's not picking correctly. So, I mean, the best joke in the book is, how did the baby lamb get to Mercury? By rocket sheep.
These are also bad animal jokes, which is just really relevant to my interests.
Are we ready yet? Okay, we've been doing this for no reason.
Just let us go on. Where's the big cane? All right, video.
Greetings from the International Space Station. I'm Expedition 39 Commander Koichi Wakata. I want to welcome you to the 3rd Annual International Space Apps Challenge.
Many nations have worked to create this magnificent orbiting laboratory that we live and work in every day. Right now, you are collaborating around the world to develop solutions that could contribute to future space exploration missions and to help improve life on Earth.
Innovative thinking sparks huge advances in human spaceflight. We're so excited about all the work you are doing at the International Space Apps Challenge.
So keep working hard to help us build our future. We need you to help us see our world differently.
Anyway, okay.
So we have our very own NASA star here today. Her name is Beth Beck. She's the Open Innovation Manager at NASA, and she's worked there for over 25 years. So she's going to have lots of interesting things to say. Beth has long been a champion of using collaboration and innovation to challenge the bureaucratic status quo. She was one of the first people at NASA to start using Twitter, which is a really big deal in a really big, older organization. And I could go on about all the awesome things she's done, but instead I'd like to welcome Beth to the stage and tell us more about herself and Space Apps.
Yes, NASA is an old organization, and some of us have been around for a while, so we kind of fit together. Lean in. There you go. All right. Is that better? So welcome, everyone. We're so glad to see you here, taking part. Be part of Space Apps. So I'm so excited to see what it's like at Mission Control right here in Toronto to see how things work. And I came in yesterday, and so the organizers here have really been working like crazy to make this an awesome experience for you. So I'm so excited to be part of it. My job at NASA right now is to try to identify all of NASA's data sets. We have, honestly, like about 100 that we put on our NASA open data.nasa.gov website, but there are billions and billions and billions of data sets that we have to go identify and make available and make them usable for you. So it's a huge job, and we have been put on notice that we have to make more progress than we have in the last 2 years. So, oh, there goes Google Glass. So anyway, that's what we're doing. We're going to make our data sets available to you, and then we want you to use the data to innovate. And so this is just one tool in doing that, and we're so glad to have you come alongside us in helping to innovate the way we do business, because you're going to solve problems differently than we will. So we're really interested in seeing the solutions through your eyes, and then you can make us smarter on how we can go forward in new ways, because we know how to do what we know how to do, but you would do it differently, so it's awesome to have you come and take part of this. So the other thing is we really want to engage all of you for a future in innovation that maybe you hadn't thought about before. And we have one incredible success story from last year. So Nick, could you come up here? So Nick came to this last year, and he had a job in cleaning, right?
I did.
Okay, so he came to this. He had all these really great designs for the Martian greenhouse, and so I'm going to let him tell you what happened last year and what a transformation it's made for him from just being at Space Apps.
Thanks, Beth. Well, I was here last year. I recognize some of you, and it's great to see all the new faces here. And as Beth said, I was working as a janitor, and I've always loved space. I'm preaching to the choir here, I'm sure. So I found Space Apps, and I signed up, for the Greenhouse Challenge. So I went home, sketched up all my blueprints, and came back on Sunday and presented, and had a great time over that weekend. The next week, I went back to my job, and some of my friends there had asked how it went, so I had told them all about it. About half a week later, one of the property managers came down and said, "Nick, I saw your YouTube video about the Greenhouse Challenge. Is that something you want to do?" I said, "No, not really. I want to be an architect. I just love space." And he said, "I have a friend." So a couple lunches later, and I'm an apprentice architect now. No longer a cleaner, because of the NASA Space Apps. So go forth into this weekend, dream, always, and remember to inspire other people. That's what NASA's about for the most people.
Thank you so much, Nick. This is so awesome. I mean, this is what it's all about, having lives changed. And for me, I just have to say, kind of in closing, the most exciting thing for me to do as a federal bureaucrat, because let's just face it, I'm a bureaucrat, is that I do get to change lives, and I see them by just letting people have some sort of introduction to NASA and let them come and engage in what we're doing. And that's what TweetUps and social media enabled me to do, is when I saw that I could have this two-way, multiple conversation with people and not be a faceless bureaucrat, that we could just engage with you. It opened all these doors, and this is just one other step in the way we're going forward. So the question I have for you guys to be thinking about, what's next after hackathons? Because that's what we know how to do hackathons now. We know how to do tweet-ups and socials and all that. What's the next step that we should be doing? And let me know when you think about it. So thanks for being here, and thank you again, Nick.
Thank you so much, Beth and Nick. Nick, I didn't know you were going to tell an awesome story. Great. So it was a pleasant surprise for all of us. Before we get started, we have to go through a bit of logistics and fix my mic. So the room you are in right now, which you may or may not know, is called the Great Hall. If you get lost in this abyss of a building and you want to find your way back, ask a nice Ontario Science Centre person where to go to get to the Great Hall. Bathrooms are to the left and to the right, no matter which way you're facing. So there's facilities there and facilities there. The Wi-Fi, please use the Space Apps TO networks. The password for all of them is innovation. And have a look around because we have some hubs set out throughout the tables. Choose the one that's closest to you if it's not actually on your table. They all have names on top of them and they're numbered. So for best results, you'll want to use the one closest to you. And if you can, you'll want to connect in to maintain a steady connection.
Okay, just gonna make the mics. We're getting instructions to do this. Matt, is that good? Better? More? Like this? Closer? But I can't, my laptop's won't fit. Okay, how's that? Is that good? Okay, excellent.
How's this?
All right, so let's go over the schedule really quick for the weekend. So registration has obviously already opened. We're going to start forming teams really shortly after this. You'll have an hour to form teams, look at each and see what each other's skills are, get together around your tables, and then actually register together as a group your team and your challenge on the NASA Global site. Doors close tonight at 2 a.m. We'll definitely make announcements over the course of the evening as things get later on the last buses or on the last calls, so you know how to get home if you haven't driven. So that's today. Tomorrow's schedule is quite open. 8 a.m. the doors open. Actually, at 9 a.m. believe it or not, the doors open on Saturday. I happen to know that, and they close again at 2 a.m. Some things to note. That at 12 o'clock, Beth Beck is going to be hosting a global Google Hangout with 12:30 with 2 astronauts, and it will broadcast to the 100 cities around the world. So that's really, really cool. And a few cities, including, of course, ours, get to participate in that. There's also a youth program going on tomorrow from 1 to 5 p.m. So when you have a chance, and you should check it out. It's in the TELUS room, and we'll certainly make an announcement tomorrow about how to find that. So that's tomorrow. On Sunday, doors open at 8 a.m. We wanted to get them open at 8 a.m. because, of course, that's presentation day, to give you as much time as possible. Presentations will begin at 2, judging will begin at 5, and awards and wrap-up will happen at 6. And you'll have a couple hours to mix and mingle and relish in your victories or unfortunate non-victories on Sunday. A couple things to note are that the Science Center is yours to explore while it's open to the public. You have to wear your badge at all times, but you can go and have fun. You can go see planetarium shows. You can go and mess around. And you, by all means, don't need to be here working. You can go find an awesome place around the Science Center where you just need to clear your head and do it.
Yeah, like if you're really, really good, you could just knock this out tonight and just hang out at the Science Center all day tomorrow. So.
All day. What else? There are private planetarium shows just for us at 5 and 5:30 p.m. Each evening. One of them will be an awesome show that we can all choose, and one of them, by special request, will specifically be the toddler show.
I don't know who requested that.
I requested it because it's amazing and very basic and just awesome. So, the toddler show. Parking. Okay, so parking is free. Just let the attendant know that you're with Space Apps. If you have any trouble, well, you shouldn't. You shouldn't have any trouble because we told them. And of course, the PAPE bus comes to and from the Science Center regularly throughout the day. Again, we'll let you know exactly when it's coming. And Halo. So you can use the Halo code SpaceAppsTO in all caps. If you guys aren't familiar, Halo is a taxi service. If you sign up for the service, they'll give you a $15 discount against your fee. All right, have I covered everything?
I think so.
All right.
Yeah. Does anyone have questions yet? Because we've got a lot more to go. So next up, we were going to talk about our sponsors. First of all, our lead sponsor today is TELUS. TELUS provided us with all of the internet, and they really put a lot of work behind setting it up and making it happen for us. So thank you so much, TELUS. Again, the password for the Wi-Fi, innovation, use Space Apps TO networks. If you're having any issues with the internet, tell one of us and we will try to fix it ASAP.
Before you tweet TELUS, please.
Yeah, please don't tweet TELUS first.
Oh, right, you won't be able to tweet TELUS. Got it, right.
Another sponsor, obviously, is the Ontario Science Centre, and they've also put a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of time behind this event, and we really appreciate them partnering with us on this. So thank you to the Ontario Science Centre for having us, letting us do the planetarium shows. It's going to be great. They also have a pretty big prize in store for whoever wins, so stay tuned for that. We also have 3 host organizing sponsors. They are the Fuse, where I work and where James works. We are a remotely distributed team of creatives who craft websites, interfaces, and brands. Another one of our host sponsor, where Matthew is in charge, is HTML5 Toronto. If you haven't heard of it, it's Canada's biggest web developer group. If you search for it on Meetup, you'll find it, or you can go to htmltoronto.ca. And I'm going to let Jonathan talk about MakeLab.
Sure, well, thank you. So MakeLab is a 3D printing studio that I help run. It's out of MakeWorks co-working studio at College in Dufferin. We have about 15 3D printers that anyone can come and use anytime they like, and they can get trained up on them. We also do a lot of events and activations for and installations for big brands and companies. We brought some of our studio over here, though there are 4 3D printers in the corner. Throughout the weekend, you're welcome to use them to print off whatever you like. If you already know about 3D printing and you're familiar with 3D printers and how to use them, you can send the file all ready and prepped to print@makelab.ca, or you can just tap me on the shoulder throughout the evening and I'll put a print on for you. Obviously, and of course, if you're 3D printing for what you're working on, or like project-based stuff, that takes priority. We brought 4 printers, so hopefully we have enough for both fun and work.
One thing I forgot to mention is that Matthew set up a really awesome photo booth over here.
Amazing.
You can't tell how great it is is it not working right now? Okay,
Soon.
it should
It
be
will work
working.
amazingly soon.
It was working, and we've been posting pictures of us headless in space on Twitter if you want to see what you can do with it. The backdrop is the space, obviously, and any phone can operate the camera. You just need to go to stepandshare.com/# or #, whatever you like to call it, Space Apps. And a little camera button will show up, and then you can control it. And then this monitor over here, it's a touch screen. You just go over there, touch your picture, and there's a QR code and a URL that allow you to share and download your silly space photos. If you have, what's that?
Or you can share from your phone.
Or you can share from your phone. So that's fun. Have some fun with that when you're not too busy working. Architect is our discovery sponsor, so thank you, Architect. Our Orbit sponsors are the Toronto Public Library. We had beer and Post-its at the reference library last Friday, and it was really great. It was an awesome thing because it was after hours just like this, and it let us be loud in the library, so thanks to TPL for that. Our other Orbit sponsors are FreshBooks and Autodesk. And our launch sponsors are Shopify and Dentons. And we've been fortunate to get a lot of community supporters, and we're not going to list them all because there's so many, but they're all awesome, and I encourage you to go to their websites if you don't already know about them, and give them a shout. Okay, now we're going to go through the challenges, and this might be a little tedious, but we have to do it for the people who aren't as familiar and didn't show up with a team or an idea today. In Toronto, we've decided to focus on 18 of the 44 challenges. Just to be clear, you can work on whatever challenge you want that's listed on the Space Apps International site, but we're just focusing on 18 because it's easier, and we couldn't support a lot of the heavy hardware projects in categories like robotics, so we chose the challenges that we thought our participants could get the most out of in the least amount of time. So we're gonna go through those.
Yeah, I should mention one important thing before we get into it, which is everything everything you work on at Space Apps is open source. So as a requirement to participate and be eligible for judging both on the local and international level, you have to post your code up on the site, and there's instructions on how to do that when you register your team and your challenge. From there, you can of course fork it and own everything from that point on. But everything you're working on today is open source, so people around the world can mess with it and make it their own.
Great point, Jonathan. One thing, if you are not already at your table with your team or with your challenge, please don't move until we're done going through them. We'll do that immediately after, where people form their teams. So when we read these out, just remember the table number if you're not already at it, and we'll get to you soon.
Okay, on to the challenges. Me? Okay, alert, alert! Your challenge is to create a Isn't that's how it's read?
It does have an exclamation point.
Your challenge is to create a central place for information and visualizations of these sky phenomena. That's table 1.
Phone snap. Convert your smartphone into a satellite. Your challenge is threefold. Develop a USB-like dongle that converts a smartphone into a nano-satellite CubeSat. Develop a Star Tracker app to convert a smartphone camera into a star tracker, and/or create a mission analysis using a sample launch vehicle. That epic challenge is taking place at table number 2, where James and Beth are. So they're obviously not going to do it. Someone's got to do it.
So these challenges are crazy. Optional, of course, is actually building the launch vehicle or actual satellite, and we've seen these on Kickstarter, which is ridiculous. Pilot a satellite. What would it look like if you could pilot an orbiting satellite? Create a visualization tool so people have a view from a satellite as it moves in orbit or transfers orbits. This is actually great because you can look up in the night sky, including tonight, because actually the cloud cover is actually all right, and you can see the sky from the human perspective. But we want to see what does it feel like to be a satellite.
That's table number 3, by the way.
Thanks. Thank you. It's sequential.
Space Mission Roadmap. Design an interactive space mission roadmap based on International Space Agency roadmaps and mission schedules. That's happening right in front of me at table number 4.
And if you haven't checked it out already, all of the data sets that feed into these challenges are available on these the challenge site at spaceappschallenge.org. So that's not our site, Space Apps Toronto, but it's on spaceappschallenge.org. All right, growing food for a Martian table. Develop a conceptual design of a deployable greenhouse that could be used for pre-deployment on a space mission to the moon or Mars. So something that's set out before the astronauts get there. Table 5.
Solar system habitats. Create an app that provides real-time notification when the rocky planets and moons of the solar system have surface temperatures that are possible for human habitation. So it's up to you to find our next home planet.
And
Okay.
specifically, when it's habitable in that 5 minutes during the sun crossover.
Yeah.
6, good luck. 7, SpaceEd. Develop an app that takes advantage of the latest generation of wearable smart technology a space traveler of the future, as opposed to today, might wear. Table 7.
Asteroid imagery sharing. Design an open source platform for sharing crowdsourced asteroid imagery, including observations that have already been logged, as well as newly observed near-Earth objects. So that's table number 8.
Asteroid Prospector. Develop a game to travel across the solar system, going from asteroid to asteroid, and presumably mining it. 9.
Asteroid watchers. Lots of asteroids.
Indeed.
I hope you like asteroids. Create an open source network of quick response robotic telescopes that would enable fast follow-up observations of potentially threatening asteroids. So that's an important job, and it's happening at table number 10.
Visualize the asteroid skies. Create data aggregators and visualizations of asteroid data in meaningful ways that can educate the public about the need to explore asteroids and protect the Earth from them. This actually touches upon something that's really important about space apps, at least in my opinion, which is that NASA generates enormous amounts of data every minute of every day, and a lot of these tools, including this challenge, is about making that data actually accessible, because it's really not used beyond some important scientific purposes. It's not accessible by the average person, and that's one of the things that some of these challenges really tries to address.
A picture is worth 1,000 words. Import satellite imagery from NASA's Global Imagery Browse services to show how Earth has changed in the last 2 years. That's happening at table number 12, and I bet it's going to be a little sad.
Well, yeah, that's incredibly important.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a really big one.
Yeah, data generated by NASA is one of the chief anchors for a lot of the climate change evidence that's out there. Air Now, International Transport App, ANITA. Create an app that shows how large-scale international air quality events relate to daily air quality index data. Cool.
That's table 13. And at table 14, we have Animate Your World. Unlock the power of NASA's Earth imagery and build something spectacular. NASA maintains and contributes to a collection of hundreds of terabytes of Earth observation imagery from our numerous satellites, which is available to scientists and the public. That's happening at table 14.
Yep, you're building your own global Google Maps. Community vision, community visions of climate change adaptation. Create an app, web interactive map, 3D model or visualization for actionable community plans about climate adaptation to better enable communities to prepare for weather and climate patterns. This is really important. Bad stuff is going to happen, and we need to be somewhat prepared for it. It's like harm reduction. So that's table 15, which is deserted.
Maybe tomorrow, Jonathan. Maybe tomorrow.
Perhaps.
Gravity Map. Create an app that displays the gravity force for any location on Earth. Grab data about gravity around the world or on a gravity map or geoid and use positioning data to show gravity at any location. That's at table 16.
All right, we just have a few challenges left, but before we continue, I want to mention that after these challenges, if you're working on a challenge or thinking about working on a challenge that we don't get to, or a challenge that you've just invented yourself, which is amazing, you're going to get a chance at your option to come up here afterwards and take a couple minutes and talk about it yourself in case you can inspire people to join that challenge. Or just share with them what's going on. Track a landslide. Landslides occur all over the world, causing fatalities, destroying livelihoods, and causing extensive economic damage. Create a way to inform people about before landslides occur or help them recover from after a landslide. It's pretty topical.
And that's table 17. And our last focus challenge is tree factor. The U.S. Forest Service has developed allometric models that use input about trees to compute ecosystem service values, but these need basic ground-based input about the trees. So that's happening at table 18.
And I think it's pronounced also tree factor.
Tree factor.
Okay.
So is anyone working on a challenge we haven't mentioned and you want to come up and tell us a bit about it? It can be a one-liner. Okay, come on up. Don't be shy.
By the way, okay. I will tell you by the way later.
Okay, this popped into my idea just a couple of days ago because I was down at Ryerson University, and the Image Arts Center, if anybody's been to Ryerson University, is enveloped in lights, and you can control those lights in a lot of different ways. And one app that was developed, and I want to make this more global, it was we had an app that took the temperature of Toronto and we changed the light pattern on the building to indicate when it was getting so cold that we would do a cold weather alert to get the homeless people off the streets. So it became a beacon to get homeless people when we had climate issues in Toronto. So my idea is to kind of broaden that out from a global perspective. So what data is out on the planet that we can monitor that changes the pulse of that building? That's my idea.
Wow. Okay, that's a great idea. Someone else want to come up and tell us what they're working on?
Oh, and that idea is at table 19.
That
so
idea is
we're giving you
happening at
table
19.
19.
Come on up.
Hi. We're over at table 6, and we're doing the habitable planet idea, but we wanted to expand on that. Instead of just developing an app that tells you when a planet in our solar system is habitable for the 5 minutes it's crossing. Anyway, so we wanted to go out into exoplanets and develop an app that utilizes Kepler's data and gives a list and tells you what planets are possibly habitable for humanity. So we're just expanding on that original idea for table 6. So if anyone wants to join us, that'd be pretty cool.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to share the challenge? Oh, we've got one right here. Come on up. I'm gonna have to just. Do we have a mic? Are you standalone mic? Yeah.
Yeah, you can just come on up. You can move it.
Okay. Can everyone hear me? All right. Okay. What's your name?
Artash.
And Natash, what are you working on today?
Well, like a weather station, like it's gonna detect with Arduino. It's gonna detect the ultraviolet, the infrared, the pressure, and the moisture. So it'll go in different parts, like to see if there's any ultraviolet or anything there.
Okay, so a weather station. Pretty comprehensive, taking into account a bunch of different factors. Okay, that's great. And what table are you guys at? What table? 23, I think? Yeah, 23. Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much. Amazing.
By the way, there's a whole family working on that, and I think that that's really amazing. Thank you guys for doing it and being here.
It's our first Space Apps family. Anyone else? Okay. I'm just curious, how many people are working on their own challenges that we haven't listed? Some perhaps more secretively. Okay, so there's a few more. All right, cool.
Oh, but you don't want to tell anyone. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Whoop. Mics. Okay, so that's fine. A couple things I wanted to mention. What? Oh, you guys want to pitch? Okay, oh, please, come on up. Yeah, clapping is important.
Check. You are. So the idea that we want to work on is using wearable technology to overcome the issue of getting lost in space. So just to put you in scenario, for those who have watched the movie Gravity with Sandra Bullock and she's lost in space, that could potentially happen to a space tourist, even though we just found out that it's probably very, very unlikely to happen. But it is a possibility. One thing that is a fact is that space astronauts will be wearing spacesuits that have jetpacks on the back, so they can actually balance themselves and actually change their orientation and move forwards and whatnot. But if you're lost in space and you're spinning, if you don't have control over the way you're spinning, there's nothing you can do about it except correct that with a jetpack. But what if you're a space tourist that has no experience being an astronaut? All you have is your instinct and trying to balance yourself by, moving like a monkey. So what we're trying to do is by wearing wristbands that will have sensors, is pick up that instinct, that motion that you're going to try to do to balance yourself, and use that to manage the backpack that you're going to be wearing that's going to have jets, and it's going to balance you and bring you back to level. And then after that, we're going to be able to instruct the tourist how to move their arms to actually bring themselves back into the space station. So the whole goal will be to use the actual human instinct instead of their training, because in that moment you're probably panicking and all you're trying to do is trying to fix what you're doing. So that's the idea. And we're on table 13. No, sorry, 29? 20. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
All right. Any other tables would like to pitch their own idea? There are a lot of tables pitching their own ideas. Anyone else? Last call. Calling once. Oh my God, what's your password? Calling twice. Entering password? Okay, excellent. Okay, a couple things we forgot to mention. I'm going to go way back. There, perfect. Okay, some community sponsors that you should know about and that we want to highlight. Pebble, we have 10 Pebbles here. You can use them, essentially borrow them for the entire weekend if it helps your challenge, if you want to visualize it in a cool way, whatever. We have 10 of them for you to use. We also have 5 Leap motion controllers. Again, you can borrow it. If you want to borrow these, you just have to give up a piece of ID that we definitely know you're going to want back so that we can get them back at the end of the weekend. To get your hands on any of those, just speak up to James. Hey, James. Okay, James has got the keys. One more, Cloud Sigma is offering free cloud hosting for the weekend or for your challenge. If you want more details about that and you want to know how to get that for free, again, just speak with James. Over there, again, waving.
Another thing we want to mention is that if you did make up your very own cool idea that is not created by NASA, we unfortunately cannot enter you into the international competition. You can still make it, you can still compete here, but we can't put you forward as a nomination to compete on the international level. So feel free to do it, but if you want to advance, you might want to consider one of the NASA challenges. That doesn't mean the 18 we talked about, it means all 44 that are listed on the international website. Is everyone clear on that? Okay.
And I would also mention those challenges that NASA gives are actually quite broad. So
Yeah.
you can, if your challenge is a little bit outside of them, that's okay. You can get under that category. All right. Speaking of categories, so we have 5 categories here at Space Apps Toronto, and they're the same around the world in Space Apps International. Those are data, so best use of data, best use of hardware, best mission concept, galactic impact, and most inspiring. So these are the 5 categories that your team can win best of here. The criteria is a little bit different, of course. The criteria that judges are going to be looking at when we're watching your presentations on Sunday are impact. You know, how impactful is your, or how wide is that impact going to be? How significant it is based on your solution? How creative it is. I think that's somewhat self-explanatory. Your product sustainability. So are you building something that's going to generate a lot of waste, is going to further the cause of sustainability around the world, and presentation. So how awesome is your presentation? How stunning is it? How good is it? And that's important. And I should mention that if you need some help with certainly your presentation, or rather any component of your work this weekend, there's going to be a whole host of mentors that are going to be available for your use tomorrow. You can see all of those mentors and their bios and their experience on our website. Okay.
You can also ask to borrow the Space Joke book if you want to mix it up.
Yeah, I mean, for example, you know, if you wanted to know who the first man in space was. The man in the moon.
I don't like that one.
You should just spend.
I don't know.
Yes,
Okay.
There will be a private planetarium show later this evening in which we will just, by starlight, read all of the jokes from back cover to cover.
We've taken up a lot of your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. Just a few more notes. It's team formation time. If you don't already have a team, now is your time to get a team. Remember that table number that you took down with the challenge you heard and you wanted to do? Go to that table. If you don't remember, let us know. We'll help you out. Or you can walk around and look. They're in order. You don't have to do that if you already have a team. That's cool. More than one team can work on the same challenge. We just have to switch the tables around a little bit. So if you can't find a table and you feel like you don't belong, please ask someone in a red shirt and we'll work it out. You'll also notice that you got a sticker when you registered. It was red, blue, yellow, or green. So what that does is it tells other people what you do, and it kind of acts as a matchmaker for people who don't have teams. So if you're red, you said you were a designer. If you're blue, you said you were a software developer. If you're yellow, hardware developer. And green, you're a citizen scientist. So we thought we would come up with an easy way to let people know what people do, so you can strike up conversations and get people to join your team.
So,
like, hey, I need you. Maybe not like that. Maybe a little nicer.
So we're going to start that in just a minute. If you've forgotten any of these details, just bug one of us with the red shirts. Tomorrow morning, we're expecting a number of people who couldn't make it out tonight to come and join, so we're going to be taking them aside and reviewing all of the stuff again tomorrow. So if you totally forget, there'll be another opportunity tomorrow morning.
So you've got about an hour to get your team together, and then we will tell you how to register as a team and register your challenge on the NASA website, which is really important to be judged. So we'll do that in about an hour, hour and 15 or so. So, yeah.
Okay. Go.
Thank you.